Hey, hi all. Thank you very much for watching this video. In this video, we're gonna discuss about the top 20 AWS cloud services. So these are the top services used by the DevOps and cloud engineers. So the cloud and DevOps engineers must know these services before going to work with this infrastructure. So let's see these services one by one. So first of all, we have the EC2, so that is the Elastic Compute Cloud. It provides reliable compute, resizable compute capacity in the cloud. It's basically the virtual server. So you gonna provision servers in the cloud, and you are going to install some application. You are going to use it as your container source. This is basically a virtual server kind of service by the AWS. So the next service is Amazon S3. It is a simple storage service, object storage service for storing and retrieving any amount of data at any time. So this is the basically simple storage kind of service. You can store your data in the form of objects, and you can use it later on your projects. So this is the basic the entry kind of storage service from AWS. So let's see another service, that is AWS Lambda. So it is a serverless event driven compute service that lets you run code for virtually any type of application or backend services without provisioning or managing servers. So you don't need to manage the servers by yourself. So the AWS will take care of your servers in the background. So you just gonna install or work on your application. The rest of the infrastructure kind of things are gonna be handled by the AWS. So this is basically a serverless kind of service from the AWS. So let's see another service. So another, we have Amazon RDS. So this is the relational database service, manages relational databases including Amazon Aurora. This is the proprietary service from this AWS. Then Postgres SQL, MySQL, and more. So this is the basically a database kind of services. You can store your data in it, and this is the scalable kind of service you use in your AWS whenever a huge amount of data you have with you. So you can go with this RDS service. So let's see another service, that is the Amazon CloudFormation. So it provides templates to describe and provision AWS resources. So this is basically infrastructure as a code kind of service. So like as Terraform and CloudFormation, both work similar kind of working nature these services have. But this CloudFormation service is basically for Amazon as resources, and the Terraform is gonna provision the multi-cloud service, cloud services. You're going to provision the multiple cloud resources in using this formation, I mean the Terraform. So let's go and check another service, that is the Elastic Beanstalk. So we have use Elastic Beanstalk in our projects. So let's see what is this. This is the deploys, manages, and scale applications without the need to manage the infrastructure. So this is another kind of serverless kind of architecture or a service, Elastic Beanstalk. You just deployed your application in this Elastic Beanstalk, and you just select your runtime, and the rest of the things gonna be take care by the AWS Elastic Beanstalk. So this is the basically fully managed service by the AWS. So again, you have Codebuild. It is a fully managed continuous integration service that compiles source code, run tests, produces ready to deploy software packages. So this is basically a code build service. So whenever you push your code for the testing purpose, for the security purpose, and this service is basically AWS managed service. So basically you have your source code in your Git repository or somewhere in S3 bucket or code commit kind of service in the AWS. So this is basically a build kind of tool. So you can use you use like Jenkins kinds of tools. So this is like a AWS managed build kind of service. So in the future we're gonna use these all services. so don't worry about. So let's see another service, that is the AWS code pipeline. So this is actually a Jenkins kinds of the service by the AWS. So Jenkins is a kind of master slave architecture. So this is also kind of same similar kind of service by the AWS. It's automates the build, test and deployment phases of release processes. So this is basically orchestrating your all build, test and deployment phases of your release processes. So let's check another service, that is AWS Code Deploy. So Code Deploy automates application deployments to Amazon EC2 instances, on-premises instances or serverless Lambda functions. So Code Deploy is a kind of continuous deployment kind of service. Whenever your package is ready, a build package or a jar war file is ready in the Artifactory, so you will pull this this image or a package, and then this code deploy will help you to deploy this your project into Amazon EC2 or on-premises data centers. So this is basically a code deploy kind of service by the AWS. So let's see another service, that is the AWS Code Commit. So Code Commit is a host secure, scalable and managed Git repository. You have GitHub for this, for your source code management. Most of the people use GitHub for their projects, for their source code management purpose. So in AWS you have a dedicated service called Code Commit. So you just have to commit your code in Code Commit, and then rest of the things, the management, the provisioning, the versioning kinds of tasks can be taken care by this AWS Code Commit. So this is basically a very useful service in this AWS. So another we have Amazon CloudWatch. So CloudWatch is a monitors AWS resources and application, providing data and actionable insights. So basically it's kind of a monitor kind of service by the AWS. Whenever any event is happening in the AWS environment, whether you are launching in any instances, whether you are deleting your snapshots, or you are working with load balancer, any kind of activities can be monitored with this CloudWatch service by the AWS. So again we have AWS Identity and Access Management. This is a kind of a access management kind of a service. You have your employees working in your organization. So which employees is having permissions for the services, this can be decided in this Identity and Access Management. So it's basically manages access to AWS services and resources securely. So sometimes your developer must need a kind of access read kind of service, permissions for some services. So this kind of such kinds of permissions can be declared into this IAM kind of things. So this is basically an identity and access management service by the AWS. So let's see, this is a 13th number of our service. So this is basically a virtual private cloud. So it's provide logically isolated virtual network in the AWS clouds. We have already configured AWS VPCs in our many tutorials. We have seen how you can configure a virtual private cloud in your AWS account. So in that you have subnets, route tables, internet gateways, and more things are there. So this is basically a virtual public cloud. So I have already demonstrated the use case of this AWS cloud in the previous videos. So again we have Elastic Load Balancing. So load balancing automatically distributes incoming application traffic across multiple targets. So whenever you have targets, you are receiving a huge number of requests to your instances. Sometimes your instances or your service might be in a critical state, or they might be in a failure kind of situation. Sometimes you have to navigate your traffic to the healthy node. I mean the server which is having a good capacity, which is in the ideal state, and the server is capable of handling the good amount of load. So such kind of load balancing service you can use in AWS AWS provides you kind of application load balancer, network load balancer, and the gateway load balancer kind of services in load balancing section. So this is basically a very useful service by the AWS. Again, you have Amazon ECS. This is the Elastic Container Service, fully managed container orchestration service for deploying, managing, and scaling containerized application using Docker containers and Kubernetes. So you have your GitHub, you have your Kubernetes, you have your images, containers. So basically, you can store and manage and deploy your all containers in this AWS Elastic Container Service. So this is basically a paid service by the AWS. You can use your container, you can use this service to deploy your containerized application, your microservices kind of applications. So this is basically a Elastic Container Service by the AWS. So again, we have Amazon CloudFront. So content delivery network, it's a basically content delivery network called CDN service that speed up the distribution of static and the dynamic web content like images, videos, and APIs to users globally. So this works in it's kind of, you know, your services, your request. Once you hit your request into your browser, so this works in the edge locations. So your data is stored in your nearest edge location in the cache format. So you will receive a data as much as faster in the rate. So this is basically a content delivery network. It will give you data in a rapid format, in the rapid speed. So this is basically a cloud front. So again, we have Amazon Cloud, Amazon Route 53. So you know what to say about this. This is the scalable domain names system, DNS web service designed to route end users to internet application. Basically, this is the DNS kind of service. You can purchase a DNS from Route 53, and Route 53 is you can set some simple routing, weighted routing, then geographical based routing. These kinds of routing policies you can configure in Route 53. So later on, Route 53 we can explore this service in the future. So let me comment in the comment section. You need on which topic you need a video. I'll try to make it on. So let's see another service, that is the Amazon Glacier, low cost cloud storage service for data archiving and long-term backups. It's optimized for infrequently accessed data. Whenever you are storing huge amount of data, so some kinds of S3 kind is not sufficient for handling your large amount of data. So you need a big storage kind of service. So in the cloud, so Amazon provide you Glacier kind of service to you can store your data in that service. So again, we have Amazon Elastic Kubernetes service. So Kubernetes is the very useful service in AWS. Kubernetes is actually a managed Kubernetes service provided by the AWS. Kubernetes is an open source container orchestration platform that automates the deployment, scaling, and management of containerized application. Once you containerize your application using Docker or any other containerization tool, you have to manage this container life cycles. You have to make your containers or your deployment scalable, and some kind of load balancing capabilities, then the network and storage kind of services. So this Kubernetes provides you containerize deployment and management containerized application kind of services. So this is the AWS managed Elastic Kubernetes service, that's called EKS in Amazon. So not the least, but it's Amazon Web Application Firewall. It's a managed service that helps protect web application from common web exploits that could affect application availability, compromises security, or consume excessive resources. So this is gonna be this is kind of security kind of service by the AWS. You can restrict which kind of traffic gonna be entered. You gonna serve the request, or you gonna permissions, some sorts of region wise traffic you want to allow to your application. So such kind of services, roles and policies can be defined in this web application firewall by the AWS. So this is basically a security kind of service by the AWS. So these are all the common services. You must go through these all services in order to work with AWS cloud service. So thank you very much for watching this video guys, and do subscribe this channel. So thank you very much.